I'm here with Paul Currie, the Xpert Group. Now, Paul, we've worked together for a number of years.
Yes.
You have helped countless people, helping them getting the property ready for the market, ultimately to get the best possible price, right? You've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. You help them with a little bit of rubbish removal to things like this, which is a full renovation. Now, for the people watching, they are perhaps considering getting a little bit of TLC, a little bit of lipstick. What are the main tips that you will tell to mom and dads out there saying, yeah, I need a little bit of work here, we need a bit of help? What would you tell them?
I would say get somebody like yourself and myself to go through the property first. First thing we have to do is get the professional eye with 30 years of experience to actually situationally analyze what is going on with this property. What do we need to do so that when a buyer comes in, they go straight to the back door and straight back to the front door and sign it because they want it.
Yeah.
So we take away everything that looks ugly. We take away everything that's going to stop a wife from falling in love with the property. And we deal with everything the husband is not going to like about the property. So whoever's living there, we go through and we analyze very carefully with 30 years of experience. And we take away every reason for them to say, no, I want to look at the next property. We want to make sure the first person that walks into your property falls in love with it because it's faultless. And they sign it, and you have a sale, the owner has a sale, and everybody is happy.
Paul, what is the biggest trap, I suppose, where people get stuck or make a mistake, like from your point of view? Because you've seen perhaps properties coming on the market a second time, and you go and have a look at it, and maybe there was a reason why it didn't sell, right? So what are the traps?
I think the biggest traps are maybe not respecting the professional advice that we can give people. You know, an accountant does accounting really, really well, and you and me are not in that game. So if we want a professional accountant, we go to an accountant. You and me are professional property people, and so we know exactly what to look for. And the trap is to hear a professional speak but not follow their advice. Now, everybody's got different budgets, but the advice has to be followed, and we're so flexible, we'll always meet a budget, but there are some things that are essential you cannot not do. You must take down a rotting fence. You must take down rotting kitchens. You must replace certain bad looking carpets. You know, so there are certain things in a property that will prevent it from selling if the owner doesn't want to follow the advice that we would give them in regards to, you know, here are the top 20 things. We must do at least the first 10. And so, you know, if they need to arrange a little bit of finance to make that happen, it's worth it for them because they will get their house sold. And when the house sells, they will be able to pay back that small amount of debt if they don't have money. So it's following the advice, financing it properly, listening to seasoned professionals.
And the third question, I suppose, as I was thinking, as you were saying all of this, a lot of this can be prevented, right? Say you got mom and dad there, you own 3 properties, one you live in, you got 2 rentals, and you kind of forget about the rentals, right? Unless something is wrong. But what would you tell someone, come up with a bit of a strategy or a maintenance strategy for a property? You know, for your one that you live in, it's a little bit easier because you see it every day. But for your rental specifically, what would you say to mom and dad that own 2 rentals out there? What tips would you pull from the Xpert Groups to give them?
Well, obviously, we're at the point they've approached you and they want to sell their property. Right. Let's assume that first. If they want to sell their property, they need your advice as to where it's placed in the market, and then they would need our advice as to what things that need to be tended to. And so I think some of the best advice is to get people in early, get professionals in early. While it's still tenanted and while you're still receiving money to pay your mortgage, etc., get the Diegos in, get the Pauls in, get them to assess the situation. Here is the worth. Here is the value in this time and this day and this season and this particular geographical area, and then get me in early because I will assess it and I will show them some of the things that cannot be seen and some of the things that the buyer is going to look at. We're always impressing the buyer because the buyer is the one with the money they want. And so get us in early. I think that's one of the biggest things. Get us in early. Don't wait till the tenancy's gone and the people have moved out and then we find all these problems that have to be resolved. Get us in early. Let us analyze the situation. Let us reveal all the things that really, truly need to be done so that, you know, their budget is protected and their cash flow is protected so that when you come and you do your signage, we have done our job and brought everything up to the best house on the street. Get us in early. That's probably the best advice.
And if you're not looking to sell the property, but you still want to get maintenance, and just be sure that you're not getting too old and too much work to do at once, right? What would you do in terms of maintaining that particular property, even if you don't looking to sell? Would you say that every 3, 6, 9 months you need to do things to it, or you need to water blast it? Is there anything that you will say to those people that you're not looking to sell, but you've got a property that maybe needs a bit of maintenance because you know you haven't done any for 2 years already, right?
Yes, I think that's a fantastic question, Diego, because we do a lot of work for a lot of owners who live outside the country, and they might have their cousin or nephew looking after the place, and their cousin or nephew might not have the skills that professional agents and rental managers have. And so if the owner thinks there may be some needs building up that are not being notified, or some problems building that are not being seen and dealt with, invite us. Just invite us. We will come. One of our experts will come. One of our senior assessors will come. He will go through the property, all respect to the tenants, no interference whatsoever. We will highlight things that maybe the nephew is not picking up, that are going to be a problem and become a bigger problem, especially plumbing, especially building materials which are fading because of roof leaks and things like that. We're extremely good at finding problems, and we're extremely good at knowing how to fix them. We have a lot of experience. So
the challenge is this, right? Once the issues become too big, then it costs a lot of money to fix, right? So you kind of want to maintain so that you're on top of it.
That's it. Especially roof problems, cladding problems, rotting problems, leaking shower problems. One toilet upstairs, it's affecting downstairs. Anything to do with water and mold and leaking and things like that. Suddenly, an $80 problem can become a $5,000 problem downstairs. And so getting professionals like us who know what to look for and know how to assess and know how to dig in and find hidden things, I think that is a really good idea, because we can assess a property in a very short amount of time for a very small fee, and we can give an owner a report of things that are immediately need attention, or a report saying, your property manager is looking after it beautifully. There's nothing to do here. So either way, I think, regular assessments from professional tradespeople like ourselves. We've got 31 very professional tradespeople on our team. Every single one is an absolute expert. They're personally vetoed by me. Very good character, very good experience, business owners. And so having a professional who is honest, walk through your property, you'll get to know exactly what's wrong, where it is, what it's going to cost to deal with. Or you'll get to know that it's got a clean bill of health. So I think the regular thing's very good, very, very good indeed, because it's it identifies things, as you say, that could become very expensive. No one wants that.
There you go. That's your next client. Thank you for watching.